Okay. Hi, everybody. I only have about 25 minutes before the kids get home from school and chaos descends. So I want to try to get through this real quick. At some point, I just have to pull the plug and give it a go. And if this doesn't work, it doesn't work. So I'm going to try to figure out here real quick how to share this URL so I can post it here. Okay. Can you hear me? Hello? Making sure sound. Is working. Oh, I did a smiley face and it was a smiley ducky face in the chat menu. Look at that. Okay, if you have questions as we go, oh, then please feel free to ask them. Okay, so today we're doing the Maker Challenge. We're figuring out shipping for heart-shaped cutting boards that I have coming in from China. So this is a buy-in process that I'm doing, and I have to figure out what it's going to cost to ship to people who are joining the buy-in process across the United States. But I can't do that very easily because I don't have the actual products in hand, and I'm very much a visual tactile person. I'm sure that I could figure out, you know, how many pieces fit in the box if it's 10 inches wide and that kind of stuff. But because I am so much of a visual tactile person, I like to have the product in my hand and then be able to use those to put in boxes and figure out different solutions and stuff like that. So same thing with packing or moving. I'm horrible about trying to figure out what I need leading up to it, but once we are going, I am an excellent packer. I can put the puzzle pieces together. So to do this, I thought I'd just do a quick demonstration in Inkscape with how to make a heart. Then we'll do Glowforge, actually cutting the heart out, and then putting all of my pieces together, figuring out which packaging is correct for what we're going to be trying to do, and then using that to figure out pricing in Pirateship through United States Postal Service. So in Inkscape, for creating it, we have a couple of steps to do. There's going to be a leg here as I figure this out. I'm going to try to put some pieces here in place so you can see everything that we've got going on. So over here in the window you can see that we have the Wise Cam that is viewing on the Glowforge. You've got me that you can see. There's a keyboard screen here, and there's little pop-ups as I do scrolly wheels and stuff like that. The other thing is I want to be able to have questions showing, so not so sure how we're going to do this, but I want to make this just smaller or something. I'll just repeat questions if we have them. Okay, so we're going to draw a circle here, and these are the dimensions I'm trying to fit, about 5.91 inches, but my actual specific dimensions from the factory are 15 by 15 by 1 centimeter. And so 1 centimeter is about 0.39 inches thick, and I just happen to have some MDF on hand that is supposed to be 1/4 inch, and I have some 1/8 inch Baltic birch. So I loaded them into the 2 Glowforges, and they're ready and waiting for us. And then I measured them with the caliper because your wood is never as thick as, your materials are never quite as thick as they are supposed to be. And so those two combined come up to 3.385 inches thick, which is perfect just about for what I need for our small heart. So we're going to start with that first. We have this circle design here that I created, and we want it to be about 15 centimeters. So I'm going to switch over to centimeters and just give myself the baseline for 15. And then this is just a basic circle. If I turn on my node tool and hover over it, you can see it's not really a path just yet. I mean, it will be, but I need the nodes to actually appear. So I'm going to go up to path, and I'm going to turn it and say, I'm going to do stroke to path, sorry. Or I guess I could do object to path. Anyway, now I have some nodes here. 2 ways to do it. We don't need this one. So there's one of our circles. I've got nodes going around the center. And now I'm going to just play with my nodes and adjust them. If I use these tools up here on the top, I can change what kind of node it is. You'll see it flipped to be in a diamond instead of a square. And so that means that when I move it around, I can also drag my handles. So I'm putting a little bit of a divot here. I'm creating my basic heart hills. So you can keep playing with those. Same process down here. If I try to move these handles with the way it is, it's trying to do the uniform approach, but I want to switch it so my handles are distinct, and I'm going to stretch it out and line it up with kind of the way I want it here. And kind of give it a little more length here, and we'll fix all of that later. But for now, I'm just trying to make my heart shape. Same thing over here. I'm actually going to give this one the rounded approach. See what that looks like. Pull down my heart some more. I can pull my nodes in, or I can take the whole thing, which will provide a uniform. And there we have a pretty little heart. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't even have to be what it's going to be from the factory. I just need a heart shape. And it still needs to be 15 by 15. So I'm going to fix my dimensions up here and make it 15 by 15. Unlock it so that if I do make any changes, then that's what it is. So if I grab my node tool and I hover over the top of it, it turns nice and red. It's pretty. And then we're going to save this. So this is my small heart, and then I'm going to load it into my interface. Maybe. I have a lot of issues going on here with my The thing about live recordings is I can't just pause and say, just a minute, and then I go find it because I obviously don't remember where I saved it at. So let's go back. So I had it pre-saved ahead of time. File, save as. Oh, it's right there in front of me. So I have two browsers open up here, one for each of the Glowforge machines that we have. One is set to Pippi, and the other one is set to Lumberjack, and I have them in order from left to right, so I know which machines or which. It works pretty good. So I'm just going to set focus on my material up here in the corner. On Lumberjack, if I refresh my browser, it will pull in the file here, and so I can make a copy of this, or I could have just used that one. So now I have a copy of it. I'm going to set focus. Just going to do it up here in the corner again. This Baltic birch material that I'm using is just a kind of a ratty piece that I have, and the camera that you're able to see is on Lumberjack right now, so you can see the wood, but it's a little more, it's got a kind of a divot going through it on the back side. And this is just thick draft board, so I'm just going to flip that over, and then it automatically sets itself to what I want. So there's my proof grade cut. Line it in. This is just our 1/8 Baltic birch, which is what I'm used to. So our settings for that is a 170 speed at full power, and this is on the Pro, and it just needs one pass. You can't see what I'm doing on the screen, so I move it over. And there, you'll notice down here there was a pop-up that said, oh, you might not because this is in the way. So there was a pop-up down here that said there was text, and text wasn't brought in, and that's perfectly fine because I didn't actually vector it. I do that. We do that a lot with Inkscape or with our design. So when we're working on stuff, you can make notes anywhere on it and save your design so that when you come back to the design, you can see the notes that you had about it and the materials you used. You can put your settings in it. You can say this is how much it cost me for the project, that kind of stuff. But when you load it into Glowforge, Glowforge isn't reading those notes, so it's going to say, hey, there's something wrong here, just because that's how it's programmed. So I'm going to go ahead and go over to the other room and hit the buttons. didn't work. I guess that did. The MDF is a thicker material, so it's going to take a little bit longer. So they're wrapping up. And so now I'm going to go over to the machines and just use my double-sided masking to pull out and lift it out of the board.
Probably can't hear me very well. The noise cam doesn't pick up very hard here that I just pulled out with the tape. And the MDF is done. I'm going to go ahead and just let that right out. It's a bit heavier, so it needs a bit more grit.
So here we have two hearts. One is MDF and one is the Baltic birch ply. They're beautiful. They fit together. They're almost the same size. The kerf is a little bit off, I'd say. They're a little different just because, but they're pretty much spot on. So I'll just stick these together. I use my digital calipers. They're coming in at 0.378. I'm going to go ahead and set focus here on this and this one. So back to the calipers. 0.387 if I don't squeeze it. So we're right on at our 0.39. Now I can use glue to put these together. I can use tape. I can, do whatever I want. Basically, since I don't care about this, I'm just going to use my masking tape. And I'm going to tape it together. Because I just need the pieces to stay together so that when I'm tossing them around, they don't fall apart. And they act like it's as if they are one piece. And the boards that I'm trying to package are each individually cellophane wrapped. And so this, I'm okay with this having just a little bit more of a gap to it, or space to it. And there we go. There is my physical heart that's representative of the cutting board. I'm going to make a couple more of these out of my material. And so I'm just going to go back over to Glowforge here. And I already did my set focus, so I can grab this design and drag it over. And if I hold down the shift key while I turn it, it will turn in 45-degree increments. And then I can position it and line it up to, optimize some space here. So if I had been thinking ahead, I would have done it more like this. If I click on it and I do Control C and then Control V, copy paste, then I can do more of them in the same screen. Again, I can rotate them around. Do some more. So I'm just going to go ahead and fill up this board. I know that I'm not doing my most optimum cuts here. Yeah. There we go. So you could also grab all of them or just 2 of them and move things around. So it's kind of easy, kind of nice that way. I can just paste. I don't have to copy each time. So I can do Control V and just paste again. And so there are my 2. So if I go back to this one, and I go back out, if you remember, we're actually operating in the copy file. And I can just make a copy of my copy and all the work that I just did there, and there are the duplicates that are there. So I'll just position them on the board and go. So the MDF is going to take 3 minutes and 14 seconds to give me a almost 6-inch heart, 5 of them. And the 1/8 inch Baltic birch is going to be 3 minutes and 14 seconds for 5 of our 6-inch heart shapes. We'll mute it so we don't have the feedback coming through the monitors. Okay, so our next challenge then is to do our 28 centimeter design. So I'm going to switch this back over to centimeters, and it's locked in, but it gave itself a little extra boost. So we're going to go 28 by 28 and move it back down to our board. And so you'll notice my Inkscape template here is actually set to my Glowforge work area. So my heart is outside of the bounds. It's not going to fit if I do it this way. And because it is a square, if I rotate it around, it's also not going to fit if I do it this way. So we'll have to shrink just a little bit in order to get our full heart to cut out. But if you're going to use this cutting board to put into the bed of your Glowforge, the body will actually fit in the bed. And then whatever you engrave, you'll have to just make sure that you're planning to engrave it in either sections, or it's just a little bit less than what the outside edges of your cutting board are, which most people I think will be doing. So it doesn't matter which orientation we have it. I'm going to go ahead and just save and go back over to my Glowforge machines. I can, while it is still working, I can go out and I can upload the new file. It doesn't have to be named a different thing. I saved over the top of it, and I'm going to upload it. And there's my new file. So I will need to put in another piece of wood, or feed the wood through the pass-through here in a minute if I go back out here. So you'll notice that this is my original upload. This is the one that I made to do a copy of. This is the one that has 5. So if I click down, I can rename these, and I can say 5 small hearts. Small hearts. And when you rename it, it moves it to earlier, so it just keeps bringing whatever your newest file is to the front of the user interface. If you delete your very original one that you made copies of, I've had this consistently happen where it was a problem, then each one of your copies will have issues if you try to load it and then use them later. So just be careful to not delete the original one that you upload. Unless they've fixed the software somehow, there seems to be a connection in it. So I'm just going to refresh this. We want this one. That's our big file. There we go. All of our little hearts are done. So I'm going to go switch out my wood and move the pass-through of the MDF through. And I'll switch the WiseCam over so you can see it operating, or try to see it operating. Turn the sound back on for the camera just in case I try talking to you while I'm over there.
Beautiful heart. You might try using them for something.
This board was a little warped, which is why I have this magnet here on the very edge.
Part of a little work, which is why I have this magnet here on the very edge. Just be careful when you're using the high power and using the magnet. They can cause your printer very well, and so then your Glowforge will go in error and stop printing. So get on the board for that cracks and stuff. So I'm going to throw it out. Another one of my somewhat warped boards that marked up and such. I'll pin it down. Load the supplies with my pins. So I'm not sure if you can see this. There you go. I forgot that I have the app on my phone, so I can see what you see. So here's the board going to the pass-through slot. Oh, that one didn't cut through. So here our boards didn't actually cut through the boards or anything, but none of them are coming out. So I'm going to run it again with another pass.
Okay, so our boards didn't cut through, but we have the file still here. I didn't change anything. Sometimes when I'm running the same file on both machines, if you know how I showed you how to rename it, I'll put Pippi 5 small hearts and Lumberjack 5 small hearts, so it doesn't, I know which machine it was that I was using. And in this case, that would have probably been a good idea. The reason that it didn't cut through is because I was in a hurry and didn't actually switch it over to being thick draft board, I think. And so I had it programmed for 170, which of course isn't going to cut all the way through because I made a copy of it. So here we go. Try that again. Six minutes. Okay, in the meantime, I do have my Baltic birch in. It says there's no artwork because it's not actually within the bounding. If I try to move it around a little bit, I can check, but the bounding is usually about 10.9 inches. So I'm just going to take this and just take it down just a tad. It shouldn't make that much of a difference. And should have done the other piece. I'm going to move it over here and do it on this side so I can capture some of that gunk. I wonder, no, there's not enough board there. So one thing that I also need to figure out is how to go about actually coming up with our thickness for the large cutting board. So the thickness for the large cutting board is 0.47 inches thick, which is about 0.5. So we could come out with that a couple of different ways. I think that 2 MDF hearts together would probably work, or I can use the Baltic birch scraps that I have to come up with it. And they don't actually even have to be full hearts, so I might have some other scraps that I can put in. I just have to have, I'm just looking for the rough shape idea so that when I put it together, it will work. So as you can tell, having the forge in a different room, when I'm going full force with both of them, I get a lot of exercise, and we're up on the top floor of the house, so if I need to go do something downstairs, then I have to run down, or maybe even down 2 flights of stairs. So we're just kind of waiting now for these to be finished. I have one heart that I can start playing with. I can also load up Pirateship here. I actually should have just gone to manage batches because I have it up here. So it's automatically logging me in. You can see my family here. And so then if I go to rates, I can do a couple different calculations here. So FYI for everybody, United States Postal Service is raising rates coming January 26th, so just so you know. I wonder what this looks like. This is new. Oh, this is cool. Maybe I'll download, or I'll try to upload this somehow. So, here's the rate forecast. And all the different zones. And the different rates and services and how things are changing. And then the prices and the zones and the weight. Cool. This document is 44 pages, which makes sense if they're trying to give you all of the different information. So this must be just all of the programming that they have loaded behind the scenes for how it all works. Cool. Okay, so quick rate quote. We're gonna look at medium flat rate boxes, I think, for now. So one of the other things I'll show you is I have this mailing scale here. It's basic. It can handle up to about 80 pounds. It's got this lid that opens up, so you know you could drop it on the keyboard. Okay, so it's got this that pops off, obviously. But this opens up, so if you needed to have a package lean up against it, then you can do that. And then, so I turned it on, you tear it, and then you put your package on, and it tells me how much my packages weigh and stuff. And then sometimes the package, when I wanted to get a much larger scale because I will sometimes be shipping larger packages, but that wasn't most cost effective because the larger the scale is, the more expensive it is. And this was, gosh, I don't remember, maybe $50. But it has a hold button on the side, which I have then learned how to use. And so if I have a very oversized package that's sitting on top of the scale, I can't actually read the display. And so I slide my hand in underneath and I push the hold button and then take the package off. And so then it holds the weight of the package on the display long enough for me to read it, usually. So I'm going to go get my pieces.
So I just heard the door downstairs, so kids are getting home. So then I just take my board and slide it through, which is pretty handy. And then we've got on the crumb tray, so that helps me to have a better idea of where it's going to line up at. And I'm going to pin this down. Just to try to get it more snug against the crumb tray.
So here's my almost 11-inch size. And I went ahead and I just moved my board over a little bit. And I don't care if it's the full heart that is cutting out. There can be a chunk out of it. Oops, did it again. So here I have my Baltic birch, my Pac-Man style heart here, and my large MDF heart, and I have my other large Baltic birch heart. I'm just gonna stick all 3 of these together here. And see what we come in at. And we're at 0.51. So, I don't remember what it was. 0.47. So we're a little bit thicker, but that's okay. Not by much. So now I'm just going to put together my... Uh-oh. Camera stopped playing. Oh, well, we don't really need it. I'm just going to put together my hearts here. My tape. See my messy keyboard here. Popped downstairs real quick to check on the kids and found an open door. I looked outside. There's a pile of backpacks on the floor and an open door, and I looked outside and the sleds are gone. So they immediately got home, I think threw their backpacks inside and grabbed the sleds and ran over to the sledding hill, which is awesome. We have a lot of snow for them to play with. But I don't know. Alexa, what's the temperature right now?
Right now, it's 30 degrees Fahrenheit. Tonight, expect a low of 29 degrees.
There is our heart. Our large cutting board size. It's got some hefty weight to it. I wonder how heavy this is. Huh. 1 pound, 0.1 ounces. So it's just a little bit heavier actually than the actual cutting board will be. It's pretty cool. I was just gonna do the math on that part. Of course, if we are able to use the flat rate boxes, then that's all that matters. So, my heart was not a mirror image of itself. Look at that. It's good to know. I know this is very entertaining. Sorry, I don't have any running commentary here. You might hear the noises that are happening downstairs though. I should probably check in. have any questions. Nope, no questions.
Mom?
Yep, you're on camera. I'm recording live right now. It's pointed down at my keyboard, but
Live?
live.
She's recording live.
Hey, your pants are very wet. Can you go change your pants?
Did you stop the recording?
No, I'm recording live. Can you help your brother go change his pants, please?
Yeah.
Thank you.
So people are hearing this.
Yeah. They can't see you. The alarm went off to go check on the chickens.
Did it go and you can do it?
I don't know if they did it. I think that they immediately got home and then grabbed the sleds and are now sledding.
They are sledding.
Keegan's using my sled without my permission again. Which is not nice.
Can you go help your brother with his pants, please?
I'm gonna go help him, but I'll do the dishes and you'll do the chickens.
And have your snack. Do your normal. Yep. And then everybody is doing their reading.
And I'll come back up with that.
I don't know, I might not be done by then, but I'm trying. Pretty awesome when you have an idea of something that you want to do and then you just are able to do it. Okay, so I now have here a stack of small hearts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. For figuring out. I could probably make more, but 6 is good enough. So, actually I didn't figure out the weight of one. One heart is 3.6 ounces. So that's not going to work as well. So we're doing this part now. This is a mailing box that is provided free by the United States Postal Service, and you're allowed to use it as long as you're using it for United States Postal Service items. I'm going to... It doesn't come with its own pre-sticky padding or peel and stick, so I'm just gonna slap it together here. Press firmly to seal. Oh, this is very entertaining watching me figure out how to tape this. Not very dexterously inclined today. Alright, so we have our box. And this is the shoe box size. Oh yeah. So a shoebox can easily fit 12, probably 15. And then if I rotate it, I want to account for packaging. So I could get 30 smalls into a shoebox. They don't really fit this way. So the best way to do it is going to be flat like this. So let's get a spreadsheet going here. Okay. In case you're curious what software I'm using OBS, which has been actually really great and user-friendly, and I can turn on a bunch of different features on my control side of things and turn on and off different pieces of it, and whether or not you want things to be shown or not. I don't remember what I said. 15:30. Go through and fix this later. Alexa, what's 3 divided by 8?
3 divided by 8 is 0.375.
I have got things tucked all over in this place. You make do with the space that you got. So we also have a flat rate envelope here. We've got 6 of our heart-shaped cutting boards. Easily fits thickness. Let me grab 3 of those. Cut off my lap first. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, somewhere along the way I set one down. On top of the scale. Okay, we're going to take this. And if I pack them, wrap them with bubble wrap. You can easily fit 10 in the flat rate envelope. And if I bind them all together, they should be just fine. Maybe give them another wrap. The large heart here does not fit in our flat rate padded envelope. So, I wonder how many of these I can. A song that just popped into my head. Oh, the things we do for love, because I was just thinking, all the things we do to figure things out, and then the hearts combine. So Anyway, the more you know. So with that bubble wrap packaging, that took us to here. One of you lucky folks is gonna get an envelope with markings all over your shipping, underneath your shipping label. Okay, so that's gonna be pushing it. We won't be able to do 10. Not if we wrap them adequately. And I mean, it is solid wood, so I don't know that it would, but it will bounce around inside it. This is called drop shipping. Not really. Okay, so I think that this will work for anything less 6 or less. So we have our flat rate padded envelope. Moving on. Medium flat rate box of the cube variety, or somewhat cube variety. Large definitely doesn't fit. We'll do it this way. So we can get 2 sets side by side. You can still get 2 sets side by side. I had ordered an insane amount of paddle cutting boards from Maynard's when they were closing out and getting rid of their supply. They still have some at a pretty good deal too. Last I looked, I think they were like $2.90 or something like that. But then you have to pay for shipping, which was crazy. Anyway, they shipped them to me without any padding whatsoever. They had just packed them in. And they survived okay, but they just made the box fit the size of what they were doing. The shipping was crazy for how expensive it was, but it is what it is. So, gotta have a better Sharpie here. Can fit 12. So we've got our stack here. 2.38. Create. 11 by 8.5. Come on. We'll just use 0.4. And we have a 5.5 box, but we need room in the middle, so we use 5.3. We get 13. So I can get 26. And ooh, that way I can go upright. They don't fit that way. Fit that way. Okay. We have 15 inches. Oh wait. That's actually not 0.4. Totally did that wrong. equals 5.4 times 12. Alright, well, now you guys kind of see my process for loading in. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the stream here.